Hey folks, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to talk about one of the ultimate prepper crops, that's garlic. Why is it one of the ultimate prepper crops? Well, it's got some medicinal benefits, it's got good health benefits. If you dehydrate it, you can make garlic powder, which is great for flavoring just about anything. But also, it's one of those crops that once you start growing it, you pretty much will never have to buy it again. I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'm going to show you how I store mine, how we dry it out, how we cure it. We're going to try to get it all into this one video. Stay with me now. Okay, and it is midwinter here in Charleston. This is my garlic crop, or one of my garlic crops. And I just want to kind of show you what's going on here. It's mid-January. This does just fine all winter long here, and I think you can go pretty far north with this and put it in the ground, and it's still going to be okay. So this was planted in the fall, and it will be harvested late spring, early summer. But it's doing just fine. You don't really have to do anything with it at this point. A little bit later in, when you're getting to very, very late winter, very early spring, you could throw a little bit of fertilizer in here. 10-10-10 is just, slow release fertilizer. Or even a little Miracle Grow if you wanted, that's fine. And it's doing well. Don't have to do anything with it. I probably will go through here and pull out these weeds just because you can see I got some dollar weed in there and things like that. That just steals a little bit of nutrients from the garlic, but it's not doing too much harm. I'll just clean that up, and that's really all you have to do for the winter. Okay, so a lot of people get intimidated by the process by which garlic is processed and harvested and cured and stored. There are several steps to it, but it's not as hard as you might think. So I'm going to try to keep this as simple as I can. So after you're taking it out of the ground, the first thing you're going to want to do is lightly brush off as much of the big dirt as you can. You don't have to get it perfect, right? And try to resist the urge to, put them in water. That actually is going to prolong this process and make it more difficult, and actually can cause some problems such as molding. So try to do it with like a cloth or soft brush if you can. And then when you've got most of the dirt off, don't start cutting it yet. That's actually one of the first mistakes that people make. Instead, you're going to start to find a shady spot outside if you can, or if you've got a barn or a shed, might be able to use that, and just kind of let it dry out by air. Give it a lot of room. Give it a lot of room for circulation, and just let that dry out. This actually can take up to 2 weeks. So what I'm going to do here is this will be out during the day, and then I'm going to bring it in at nighttime. This is kind of a shady spot for us. It's about, and now if it's raining, I'm going to bring it in because there's just too much moisture when that's going on. And so first, step one, take it out of the ground, right? And when you're pulling it out of the ground, be gentle. Be as delicate with it as you can. These can bruise, and if it bruises, it's going to be a problem. So try to be gentle as you're pulling it up. Step two, lightly brush off the big dirt. Step three, find a spot where you're going to let it start to dry. And this process is going to take, it can take up to 2 weeks. So just be aware that you're going to be doing this in and out. But it's worth it because this is a very long storing food item that especially if you're a part of the prepper community and you're interested in self-sufficiency. Not only will this store a very long time, I've gotten a full year out of my garlic sometimes. It's really easy to grow. It's very low maintenance, doesn't require a lot of fertilizer or pesticides or anything like that. Pests pretty much leave it alone. And once you grow it, you can keep reseeding your stock forever. So you could literally never have to buy garlic again. I'll take a couple of the biggest bulbs here, and in the fall, I'll start to break those into cloves, and I'll plant that, and that will be next year's crop, right? So you literally, it's heirloom. You can keep planting from the same genetics year after year, and it starts to acclimate to your specific growing conditions, and becomes your own little heirloom, right? So here we are. This is the step where we're just going to let this dry out, and when we are ready to go to the next step, I will film a little more. Alright, so now after your garlic has been drying for about 2 weeks or so,
and it's nice and crisp. What you want to do is you're going to start to trim off the little root down the bottom, right? And you don't have to get it perfect, but just take off some of that, right? You want to get it close, but not, it doesn't have to be like real close. It doesn't have to be like right up on the bulb. Okay. Now there's two, let me trim these two up here too. There's two ways that you can store this. You can braid them, which I'll show you right here, and then hang them, which actually looks kind of nice. And if you wanted to hang it in your kitchen, some people like that, but I do it a little bit different. I'm going to show you how to do the braiding method, and then I'll show you what I do. So just trim it up, right? That's all. Just get it close. Doesn't have to be right up on the bulb. Okay. All right. So now, if you've ever done any kind of braiding before, let's trim this up a little bit too. Let's get some of the excess off here. I think what we'll do is I'm gonna cut it right there. Just gonna make it a little bit easier to work with. You don't have to do that, it just makes it a little easier. All right, so you're looking at something like that. And we'll do the same thing on this one. Sorry, I'm making a mess here. Okay, I'm just trimming those guys up. All right, and one more. Now, move that other stuff aside. So when you're doing this, I'm going to actually turn these upside down. I think it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing. So if you've ever done any kind of braiding before, this should seem familiar. So you start with 3, and what you're going to do is this one is going to take the one on the left or the right, it doesn't matter, crosses over, right? So you cross over the one in the middle, and then the one on the other side, cross over that. See, this is why I was trimming that up. Just makes it easier to work with. Cross over that one. Okay, so that goes in the middle now. Now, you're just going to keep rotating left and right. So this here is going to go in the middle. Right? And now we did left side, so we're going to go to right side. It's going to go in the middle. Okay? And then we did right side, so left side's going to go in the middle, right? And we're just going to keep repeating that pattern. That's all there is to it. Oh, look at that. A little bit of green left on there. Okay. All right. And that's it. So you could hang that in your kitchen now. Now, you could do big bunches, right? So the idea then would be we're going to do 3 more and then 3 more, right? So now we have 3 clusters of 3, right? And then you could braid those together to have 9, right? So I'll try to show you that. Okay, same thing, right? Keep rotating back and forth, left over right, and whichever side you do the opposite side, and it crosses in the middle, and you just keep doing that. That's how you make a very simple braid, right? Okay. And then what we can do, if we do one more of these, right? You get the idea. So there's 3 there, there's 3 there. Let's make one more. Okay, we'll do one more here, right? So we'll do left over right, right over left, left over right, right over left. Right over. There we go. Yep. And just making our simple braid. That's all we got to do. All right, now. Okay, so you see we got 3, 3, and 3, right? Now you can make an even bigger braid if you want. So the idea here is we're going to go over the middle. So that was left. Right side's going to come over that one, and in the middle, that one's going to come over. Left side's going to come over the top again, in the middle. Right side, in the middle. We're going to run out of space here pretty quick, but now look what we've got. I'm going to turn you up here a little bit, right? And then you can just pick off, you cut off the ones you want as you use them. Okay, that's one of the methods. There's another one that looks even prettier than that, right, where they just kind of string up. But that's one of the methods. That's not what I do, though. Let me show you what I do. All right, so what I do after you've trimmed off the root stuff on the bottom is I just trim right about, let's say 2 inches or so from the top, okay? And I leave a little stem like that. The reason for that is, and you can see there's still a little bit of green in there, right? So these actually have to sit just a little bit longer. Thought they were done, but that's okay. That's how you learn. So that, as it's dehydrating, when you leave a little bit like that, it actually prevents it from growing out a little bit longer. This actually just helps it to dry and cure even better. I don't know how to explain that, but what happens is if you cut too close to the bulb, you'll actually start to get sprouts quicker. How long will this last when it's completely dry? Well, if you keep it in a dry, cool cabinet away from direct sunlight, should get at least 6 months. I've gotten a full year. But what you also want to do, right, is you pick some of your biggest bulbs, and those are going to be your stock to plant in the fall. So usually sometime between Halloween and Thanksgiving, I plant my garlic for the following spring. And all you're going to do is you're going to take a couple of your biggest bulbs and you break this open, and you're going to plant the cloves. This part here, the root part, obviously is going to go down. The top part here is a little bit more pointy, and that points up. And all you do is you're going to plant it down about, that far down. So maybe like 1.5 inches down. I spread them out about hand width apart, and that's going to be your garlic for the spring. So if you do this right and you dry it and you plant in the fall and then you harvest again in the spring, you actually will get an unending supply of garlic. You'll never have to buy it again in the store. All right? All right, and that's pretty much it, folks. As you can see, I picked up a couple more scapes there, which I'll use that tonight. I think we're getting pizza tonight, so I'll saute those with a little bit of olive oil and some basil and oregano from the garden, and I'll just kind of have that on top, pour that on the top of my pizza. It'll be amazing. I wanted to show you there on the right. You can see there's some dirt on those bulbs. That's the second batch that I dug up, so I just didn't clean those as much. But honestly, I left it there. I also wanted to show you that it really doesn't hurt anything. You can leave it there, and it's not gonna do any damage to it or anything like that. It's on the outside papery shell, and so as you peel it off I'll probably give those another brush down to get some more of the big dirt off. But as you peel it off, the garlic underneath is very clean, so don't worry about that. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. Please don't forget to hit like and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. We will see you next time on A Little Bit of Everything with Sarge.